Good afternoon. Lee Schlenker of the Business Analytics Institute. One of the major challenges of artificial intelligence today is assuring the adoption of AI tools by management, their employees, and customers. Perceptions of transparency, trust, equity, and even human nature may greatly inhibit technology adoption. We have the good fortune this morning of chatting with Fritz Lebowsky, an expert and senior consultant on technology's impact on human perception and performance. Good morning, Fritz. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself, your background in control systems theory, and what you bring to the table today?
Yes, absolutely, Lee. Thank you very much for having me on this interview series. And I very much look forward to explain a little bit what my own ideas are all about. And the difficulty is probably to overcome and together. So my background is 30 years of engineering and research and development in microelectronics, and especially control system theory and statistics. These are my specialties, in which I think there are interesting phenomena that we observed that have nonlinear system performance that could bring many more interesting options into the world of data analytics, and especially to create the link with human performance issues. So that's something that I'm really interested in driving forward.
Great. If AI is meant to enhance human performance, we must focus on the conditions that allow human and machine intelligence to complement each other. What do you see as the challenges in using AI in business today?
That's a great question. I really think the biggest challenge is on the human side. First thing is that we can really use all the advantages that are available in technology from an AI perspective, artificial intelligence and algorithms, that will then connect seamlessly, and I would say also very effectively and efficiently, to create resilience in humans who are the first and final deciders if their results that they are looking for, their expectations are being met. And today in engineering, there's the difficulty that people are focused on suboptimal solutions, engineering only, technology only. That's the magic sauce, the secret sauce that's being produced. But it's more than that. We have to figure out how human beings, through their excellent emotional, authentic intelligence, and then guided through to hone and improve emotional intelligence and social intelligence, are excellent vectors in which we can then improve the performance in a more open ecosystem.
Although many managers are still struggling to distinguish machine learning from artificial intelligence, most have yet to ponder the nature of emotional intelligence. How would you define emotional intelligence?
Yes, emotional intelligence is something that you have to capture yourself through ties to perception in human perceptions. And that is very difficult to capture. Today, machine learning tells us that they just have to have a huge amount of data and the algorithm will figure it out itself. I think we can be more careful and more efficient because we have to learn how to bootstrap, how to decipher human emotions that come in parallel with the problems to be solved, with the barriers to overcome, with the machine learning decision-making processes, not just seen as a final mathematical result that is perfect by construction. We have to link it structurally to all the options that we may have. And that needs outlier analysis and subtle investigations of structural ties to all the perceived elements that we don't even really know today. We have to explore in that direction, that we can know how the subtle perceived perceptions that are not easily detectable are being integrated in the whole ecosystem. And this is where human beings have to play.
Excellent food for thought. If we do indeed need to align AI with corporate strategy, culture, and resources, what do you propose?
What I'm proposing is to look into more differential context, not just what's the obvious and the superficial results that we're following up and being happy that we are going into the right direction. We should start with the first phase, that is reflection about the options, all the options that we have. And in that, the options that we have to decode and decipher out of emotional and social intelligence, doing teamwork, group context work, that lets us reflect and see how coherently we can structure those perceptual, perceived ties with the problem to solve overall, gives us new hints and new possibilities to advance together. This is what I call sustainability for all. And this is where we should just combine and not compete combine emotional intelligence and social intelligence with artificial intelligence and algorithms and technology instead of letting the two compete. We find in many discussions today that we rather like to compete with something that puts us into a difficult situation and the winner takes all. We should really listen to all the options when you have, and control theory tells us in dynamic system theory that we can put these functional elements all together in the system. Complexity can be dealt with very simple feedback loops that we can then statistically analyze in very, very efficient ways. And that's what I propose to accompany executives, that they become very confident and go forward with us to figure out how to solve these very structurally critical problems once for all in a way that has never been done before. That's the innovation that I can provide, which I learned over 30 years in complex microelectronics systems design.
Brilliant. I imagine that your ideas require that management question the idea that their engineers will magically find something useful to do with all the data, and think hard about matching human and machine intelligence. What do you see as the challenge?
They are great challenges. The first challenge is human. And let me just say it straight out. What I observed over the last couple of years, also when working as an engineer, when we talk to management, the managers who could use these new ideas and explore them in an efficient way with us are the ones who believe in the least. That's a human paradox. It's very interesting. So find a good line of scrimmage, where's the good compromise that people can feel that there's a riches of working together as a team on these more complex issues and solve them in a very strategic and a very economically forward-looking way. Using all the data, do the analysis, do the simulation. We don't have to use it in the first place as a truth system. We can verify and decide in simulation with all the data we have that these approaches are coherent with what we expect. And we can analyze why we expect what we expect. And that is so important. That's what I learned as from the heart, from my personal heart. I'm a functional verification engineer. I make sure that I only release a system that is functionally correct by construction. If there are loopholes, weak signals that have not been understood, we should be extremely careful to just open up the system and propagate errors that should never be propagated, because that brings the whole system into a very...
Thank you, Fritz Lebowsky, expert and senior consultant on technology's impact on human perception and performance. In today's interview, we've explored the importance of aligning AI projects with human nature and perceptions of transparency, trust, and equity. We've discussed the nature of emotional intelligence and its role in technology adoption. We've underlined the need to recognize and leverage human intelligence, and we've noted the potential value of flow states and the SF model. This is Lee Schlenker, principal of the Business Analytics Institute. Don't hesitate to reach out to us at www.baieurope.com. Take care.